Yeah, good afternoon, people. Yeah, man. How you lot doing? You lot cool, yeah? Yeah, what was I getting to? Yeah, so the point I was making was that, so this is the continuation from the African religion, roadside, Islam and magic. Because it all has a connection, innit? Because obviously I'm trying to break these things that people have, that thinking that, oh, we was in Africa, we was this great and da 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 da, we was great, we created engines, we done a lot of stuff, but there has to be a limitations to what we was. We're simply men, straight, same way. You're no different. Maybe Allah has created you a bit more physical abilities and that, so some men like to take it and run with it. Oh, we was gods. No, we're not. You're a man. Do you get me? You hunger, you thirst, you're gonna go to bed, you don't know what your future is, innit? So the conversation we're having was that my experience on the road, innit? I was explaining how I got robbed when I was young, so which led me to go do something to someone else. But what the person who I robbed and took their jewelry were no ordinary person, innit? Their family was like wrapped up in that stuff. So it led to me getting rushed by this guy that I brought on the roads, and I was like the dominant one there. So like me and him had fights. I broke him up. Do you get me? I left a permanent mark on his eye, like under his eye, and that we had a one-on-one. So it got to a level where he's come to rush me, but when he's rushed me, I think, he was dealing with juju. But that night, I remember we was waiting for the thing to come. So I was like, I'm tired of these youths. I'm gonna blast this youth. You get me? So I remember one of the elders came. One of the elders, Brimer. Wily Coyote. You get me? The wild one gives good advice. You get me? Brimer was like, nah, man. You lot are all Africans, bruh. Go roll out round there. And like they rushed you, innit? You man catch him and rush him. So when we went circling for these youths, we're driving around GP looking for them, driving around, then boom, man, spot something. But see, it's always true, like when we spotted something, cause we was rolling for time, we skidded, like, man are pressing hard on the brakes. So obviously man pressed hard on the brake and jumped out on the youths. I remember it was me and couple man, you get me? So when we moved to them, they were looking for us. So remember the big brother just told me, louder swam me, innit? Just go there and grab them. You get what I'm saying? So like man went and did that. So when we're there, these youths got choppers and big ass swords and that waiting for man. So they jumped out. We've jumped out, but the way we've jumped out on them, we're the wild ones. Like we're moving to them, like panic, causing panic. You get me? Like moving to them. Do you get me? So one of the man them, he was my good friend, because he was like, bro, your car. And I had a company car at that time, so I had to scare it because it was in the middle of the road. As soon as we saw that, man just pulled up, so I didn't even care that I had my company car in the middle of the wall. You get me? So when he said, blood, your car, I remembered, rare, you got a bat in the back. So I've run to go get that, and my brethren skated his car in there and licked over the youth. And as the youth's getting up, he's ran him over. You know, like when the youth's underneath the car, he's ran him over. And the youth's got up and ran. So I'm like, do you lot see what I'm saying to you lot? And the side of the car hit P's leg, and we had to take him Harrow Hospital. You get me? P was fast. You get me? That night I remember we're driving back. I'm so tired. I'm sleeping on the wheel. You get me? So we had to take P hospital, but this youth that we ran over, reversed over, he's calm. So the youth cut out anyway. So I was like to them, do you lot see what I was telling you lot? When I'm telling you lot, this youth does juju and that man's laughing at me. You get me? So man kept it moving. So I remember man went to another house party, like I said, to blams this youth, and medical brethren's not doing the thing. You get me? I fucked this youth in carnival. And they tried to rush me, you get me, but it didn't. It was shit, but I was banging, man. And like, yeah, they weren't listening to what I was saying. Let's go over there, the police are here. So as soon as the thing started, the feds blocked it. I'm rolling all redded up, red whip, red everything, looking for man, one up still. You get me? Like, so I remember after when I went Africa and I came back with this guard, I told you like I got chased. When I got chased, certain weird things happened, innit? Like, one of the weird things was that I ran in front of my baby mother plain sight, and my baby mother couldn't tell that was me that just went past. She said someone went like flash past me. Obviously, you could put it down to when you're scared, you're gonna run harder or whatever, but to me it was a bit weird the way I was moving. I remember, do you get me? Because I stood there and these youths, like, I was like, beat it, innit, in my head, but these youths ain't beating. To me, they look frozen, so I didn't waste no time. After I saw he weren't moving, none of them weren't moving, I kept it moving. And I remember when I went home, I lifted up my belt, and the weirdest thing was the amulet thing that I had was on me, and I don't wear them thing there. I wasn't, even when I had them thing there around, like family giving it to you, telling you, oh, this is only God's protection. I always thought something dodgy about this, and like I said, innit, I was asking God whether this is from him, innit, because when you come from a background where they give you certain things, they might fall into bid'ah, to innovation, to shirk, and you have to be careful that you're not following your family to hell. Maybe that's what they're on, or do you get what I'm saying? Or you could come and enlighten them and show them that, look, this is not the way, this is not what the Prophet did. Do you get me? You depend on Allah, you depend on God when you're in need. So I remember, like, obviously the youth's not moving, I've gone home, there's belts on me, like, so to me it was just weird, innit? God was answering me certain things, innit? After I got more educated with what Allah said and knew that this is from the devil, it's that devil's handiwork. It's just, he's tricking certain people with low faith, low iman to believe in him. So I remember when we was practicing, one of the mad things that happened, and yeah, me and Richie went, Richie Diamonds, yeah. Me and Richie went itikaf. I'll never forget it. We was doing itikaf 10 days in the mosque. And if any of you lot know about, like, certain mosque that's got too much different sects, like the Prophet ﷺ said, he said Moses' religion will turn to 71 different groups. He said Jesus' message will turn to 72. He said mine will turn to 73, and each one will say they're the truth, but only one would be. So you got lots of sects in certain mosques, innit? So I remember we was doing itikaf this year in Wembley Masjid, you get me? And Wembley Masjid's kind of mixed. It's got Badairis, Salafis, Sunnis. You get me? When you're just supposed to be a Muslim and follow the Quran and Sunnah Kalas, you get me? But you got different sects, do you get me? And these different sects, it leads to you having a weak masjid where any jinn could just flow in. So we was doing Wembley Masjid. So years after, when I've learned and seen all that judge stuff, you get me? Like, seen man who I know's real tell me, blood, I shot him in his heart, blood, and there's nothing wrong with him. Do you get me? Like, and everybody knows he did lick him down in his stomach and nothing happened to that guy, you get me? So on the roads, certain things has happened that people can't explain, you get what I'm saying? And there weren't no lie, it did happen, and there people could say, yo, it did, you get me? So years later, when man kind of got on Deen and knew the way, man done last 10 days of Ramadan. Muslims normally stay in the mosque for 10 days to gain more piety, innit? Because you're locked away from the world, you're not seeing rubbish, you're not seeing people acting up, you're not seeing naked women, you're not seeing people enticing you to do bad things because you're in God's house, innit? So the only thing you could do is read, pray, and, you know, talk good stuff, because when you're in a masjid, you can't talk about worldly matters, innit? You're in God's house. So I remember this year when we went, I got a couple man to come, innit? So it was me and Richie and a couple man. Yeah, so Richie, I remember there was one guy, innit? Like one big, you would say, I was thinking, is he mad? or is he someone possessed at first when I met him, but he wasn't balanced, innit? He was moving like a bit weird, tapped. So I remember I said that year that I'm not gonna be talking to no one. I'm just gonna read Quran and do my own thing. So I wasn't trying to like chat to people and that. So, but this guy was trying to get my attention. So one morning he ran up to me and he was like, is Muslims, are Somalians Africans? Like, see, Duppy, yeah? They know how to act dumb to get into it with you. Do you get me? So when he said that, I thought, nah, man, this guy's not possessed. This guy's just one of them slow, lame people. You get me? So I was like, obviously Somalians are Africans. I've gone into it, innit? So he started to come around, man, like a new brother who needs you to teach him maybe surahs and that. But I remember a lot of things was weird about him. So on me saying, you know, just observe him, I noticed one time we're sitting down and he tried to put his face near a man's leg. So when he tried to do that, the little boy that he tried to do it on, like, looked at him, and the little youth started moving, scared of him. So one day we was all sitting in a circle reading something, and I remember the little youth, after he got scared, he was like, bro, he was pushing on my heart. You could see the little youth terrified, innit? So he's scared of this guy, and none of us had told him that this guy is kind of freaky. So the way I see it, the Duppy was trying to get my attention because he wanted the man them anyway. All the man them could prove this happened, innit? Their man, you get me? Like, from different ends, you get me? So I remember sleeping, and this guy, someone woke me up, and when I woke up, this guy is screaming, but he's screaming like a possessed person. Like, you get what I'm saying? He's like, but you can hear a deep roar, innit? So I've woke up from my sleep, but because I sleep heavy, I'm not waking up through all that rubbish. Like, do you get me? So someone's come to wake me up and like, oh, come help him. But the guy's holding his leg like he's in pain. But you can hear a demon screaming. You're not hearing no human in pain. I can hear a demon screaming. And the reason why it was a setup, he wanted me to touch him so he could go inside of me. Because when he's screaming, he got someone to wake me up. And I found out that guy used to go to the back of the mosque to smoke cigarettes. Now, we're bad boys, and even us, we're not going to go to the back of the mosque and smoke a cigarette in the last 10 days, bro. Just hold it 10 days. Do you get me? I'm a smoker, and I wouldn't dare think about having a cigarette. You get me? Or go and leave in the mosque, because you lose the reward. You're not supposed to leave it, see the roads, It's just seclusion. You get me? So when I got woken up, the guy was forcefully like, oh, come, let's help him. But something said to me, no. I remembered when you sleep, you lose your wudu, your ablution. When you're clean, spirits can't jump into you or try to touch you. They'll move away from you. Like, do you get me? Proper clean. Not man who piss and put their things back in their pants and ain't squatted, so all your urine comes out. Then you use water to clean yourself like how Muslims do, innit? And you cut tissue paper, ain't clean your body. Yeah, jump in the shower if you, man, ain't washing your bum, innit? Do you get me? So these are the things that make certain duppies lurch onto man, and you're thinking, why have I got this? Because you're not cleaning yourself properly. So when I was sleeping, I lost my ablution, innit? So that's the only time he could come into me, because while you're staying in the mosque, you're always in wudu, innit? So this spirit couldn't go inside of me, innit? I'm too clean. So I remember my mind said to me, right, don't touch him, go pray, go do wudu. So I went and done wudu. As soon as I came back, he started to look at me like, you smart, you didn't touch me. So he stopped screaming, like he was doing a powerful roar. Like, to me, I was like, rare, a lion. Lions don't even roar like this, because he was too deep. It was demonic, innit? You can hear it. Everyone, 40, 30 people are all scared in the mosque. So I remember I started to pray, then he stopped screaming. Then now I was like, yeah, certified, this guy's a duppy. So next day we're sitting down, me and Richie, yeah? And Richie must have been like, smoked my jumper. He's like, blood, your jumper reeks of the guy. Because see, people are possessed. They're people who don't shower, and the demons don't want them to shower, innit? So that they have more strength, innit? The dirtier they are, you get me? So I smelt my jumper and it smelt of him, and I tried to be in denial. Like, no. Like, do you get me? But I knew, rare. How come my jumper smelling of him? So, anyway, we was about to sleep, innit? So, man bust a joke. And when man bust a joke, he was like, yo, imagine if you're sleeping, yeah? Richie's like, imagine if you're sleeping and you wake up and this guy's right in your face, what are you gonna do? So I was like, would you, like, what you mean he's in my face? Man laughed, everyone laughed and da. So certain man's turned around and gone to sleep. But I know this duppy's moving like he's after me, innit? So I'm not going to sleep, innit? So I put on the Quran, Surah Baqarah, get me glorifying God, and I'm lying down. Bro, not even 3 minutes had gone past. Richie's tapped me. This bread's like a gal in my face, this possessed gal in, like this possessed bread, you know. It's got, come like he's got female jinns or something. So Richie's got so paro, Richie's got up and ran. You get what I'm saying? Richie's dust in the toilet. So I've got up and I'm like to him, yo. He's like, Ahmed, you always like to help people. Because the day before when I see him do the funny thing, I was ringing the sheikh to get him to take the spirit out of him. So he was like, you always trying to help people, Ahmed. I was like, yo, see you duppies that's possessing man and that. When you die, God's gonna punish you for like doing stuff that's forbidden. So I'm starting to preach to it. So he got up, you don't want to hear it because the Quran's on, innit? He can't listen to it. So he's moved away from me. He's gone to some little kid. And he's talking to the little kid, like, but talking about nastiness, like talking about gal and cigarettes. So I've come and fixed the earphones on the little youth's ear. So he's looked at me and jumped. And he's gone, like, as soon as he's done that, like, man like me, he's gone, Bismillah, and gone to punch him, you get me? So he's moved away from me. And he started acting up and running up and down in the mosque and that, you get me? So then, another day, so now man know he's a duppy, so every time he comes, man, I say a man's prayer. So the little youth that he had scared one day was sitting next to me, and the guy's running towards us. He's a butch guy, smelly, big afro. So he's running towards us. So when he's running towards us, I'm sitting with the little boy. So I'm like, read the Quran. So the little boy started to read the Quran. And while this guy is running up to man, Chico, when he got to man screamed, Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest. Blood, you should have seen this guy. It's like a man running to you and you lick him with some shots and he's gone, ah! He's gone, ah! And then he's ran out. So that night, I must have been walking down the steps and I've seen him. When I seen him, I was saying to myself, do you know what? You ain't even said your protection. So I ran to say my protection. As I ran 3 steps, this guy's far away, you know. As I ran 3 steps up the hill, up the stairs, I've turned. He's teleported from there to here. He's far. No way, even Linford couldn't even done that. Do you get me? So I've turned around and said my prayers, and he's moved back. So he's gone to me. Why aren't you my friend, Ahmed? I said to him, listen, I know what you are, you know. If you was a man, I'll punch you in your face for trying to sing in God's house, talk about gal, disrespecting, singing and doing, do you get me? That's what these demons come to do. They come to like disrespect in God's house, sing, act up, you get me? Talk about nastiness. So I was like, I know what you are. You're not a man, but if you was, I'll punch you in your face and move to you for the disrespect. He went, like, he looked at me like, you know. I was like, yeah. Then some milkshake, as I like to call them, these uncles that do bid'ah and they don't know the deen and that. He's come and he started reading some Quran. And when he was reading the Quran, the guy who's possessed turned around and said, look at his hat. He's got a star on it. He's a Jew or something like that. Everyone looked as well. Like, so the uncle said some prayers and he started to read prayers back. But this demon is reading the prayers and changing words in the Quran. And we know they do that to like curse and that. So he was acting up. But the same uncle, he was the first one to tell me that, yo, this guy is possessed. So I said to him, if the guy is possessed, why don't you help him? he's like, oh, this one you're gonna have to do a big sacrifice, get a cow or a horse. We're in England, blood. What the hell are you gonna get a cow or a horse? So I'm thinking, right, what are you talking about? I've never heard of no one having to get no animal to give to no duppy for it to leave. So I was baffed about what this uncle's on, innit? But you know, see, when you're in God's house, he answered you. One bro was reading something and he came with the evidence and he was like, bro, look, it says all sacrifices for God alone, so you could never sacrifice to nothing but God. Do you get me? So I was like, okay. Then one brother came to explain that there was a Somalian guy, a Somalian little sheikh, very, 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 very versed in the deen. But when he was in Somalia, there was a woman possessed. So the mum, this had been going on for time. So the woman called him. Obviously, they call these kids these people that read Quran and they've memorized the whole book. So the little boy started reading for the spirits. So the spirits, they get burned when man are reading, glorifying God. That's all you need to do. Glorify God over water and dash that over them. You see them, you know who's a duppy. Even if you sprinkle it in the corners of your house, bathe with it, drink some, like, even if you got one, it's gonna weaken it or whatever, or if it's around you, will leave. So I remember, where did I even get to? Yeah, so this bro here, that day, so with this shit, I said to him, so why aren't you helping him? He was like, oh, you need a horse, a cow or something. So I was like, dodgy. So when the evidence came that this man, what he's talking about is rubbish, I tried to show him, but he wasn't listening. He tried to come up with these, this, that. So when the duppy reacted like that to him, there was no respect. But when I was sitting with the little boy, and the little boy is praying, and he ran up to us, and we screamed Allahu Akbar, he ran away, innit? So clearly, Allah was showing me this. Did you get me? So when he's read the thing anyway, the duppy started acting weird, running up and down. I remember that night we had to close the mosque because he was just acting up. Then you were seeing one door shake, then the other door shake, and then it's like we're in some horror film. And remember, there's 30, 40 big men in Wembley Mosque chilling, you get me? All witnessing this. So I remember I was like, you know, I've had enough. Because Richie was supposed to go home, help his mum move. So I was like, you know what, when Richie's going home, I'm calling quits because I can't get the peace that I want to get in it. Just 10 days, don't want to chat to me. I'm reading, doing what I need to do. So I must have been like, you know what, me and Richie was in the next side of the mosque. So we was like, just alone. He was like, I'm going home. So Richie was like, bro, he's going home. So I'm like, blood, I'm going to go home with you then. But you're supposed to stay for 10 full days so that you get the last 10 days of Ramadan, which is worth 70,000 years of worship. If you do get it, God is giving away free reward. He's quadrupling, whatever you want to call it. So when he said he's going, and he already said he was going from the start, so I was like, you know, I'm gonna have to go with you, cause I can't study, I can't do nothing here. This guy's disturbing me. So I remember I made up my mind I'm gonna go, but I went and asked one good brother. He was like, nah man, why you gonna go, man? Pray first. So I prayed. When I prayed, my mind was like, go where? I'm not going nowhere because of nothing. So I went and I was like, nah, I'm not going no more. Blood. You know, when I first spoke with Richie and we said we was going, I walked out the door, yeah? And this possessed guy walks up to me and he's going, you're going home, Ahmed? Going to break fast with your kids, Ahmed? Like, weird. I was like, how does he know? No one was in the room. We didn't tell no one. Kept it secret. So when I finished praying and now I'm not going, this guy's walked past screwing me like, you smiling at me 5 minutes ago, now you're screwing because you know I'm not leaving no more. So when he's done that same night, bruv, he was just tripping. That same, with like we had, bruv, we went through enough stuff. You know how I know he was a proper demon, yeah? So he left that night. So he wanders streets at night. So see people you see that can't sleep at night, they wander at night, grind their teeth, mood swings. These people are possessed, you better know. So when he's gone, I'm making this concoction where we're just reading bare Quran in the water. When we're tired, I've tied the earphones, let it drip inside the bottle, so it's just glorifying God over the water. So I remember when he's come, he kept coming on the left, and I'm reading Quran and he's disturbing me. He's like, read to me, Ahmed. I'm like, move from me, blood. I'm badding him up. So he's gone and he's come back. He's gone and come back, then I've just brought out the bottle and opened it and just left it on the side of my feet. He bust the right to come, but it's like something told him, yo, there's something here. Like, then he stopped. Then he started to sing. I've never heard no one sing so good in my whole life. It sounded like a radio was playing, bro. He started singing like some Michael Jackson song, bro. He sang it better than Michael. I swear down. Demons could sing like a tune's playing. Bruv, he started to sing and started to bug out. Like, you could tell he's not comfortable. Like, he's acting weird now, you get me? He sensed what's around. So I remember he cut out all the man them. Like, he couldn't stay. Like, he was like, whoa, this guy's weird. So, cut a long story short, after we just knew what this guy was, so come time to leave, I've left my yard, innit? We've left the mosque after 10 days. Yo, we've got to Richie's yard, yeah. I'm sitting in the car, and like a spirit blatantly ran to the window, because I'm looking that way and I saw you can't see, but you felt the energy. It ran up to the car window and gone around the back of the car. So man, like, my instincts told me, look on the left. So I'm looking on the left. Bro, a black cat comes. Everybody knows spirits possess black animals, these dark animals. That's what they shapeshift, so that they could camouflage, innit? Because when they possess animals and these objects, if they die inside that thing, they die or they get trapped, whatever. So they're trying to be discreet, innit? So I remember, like, this black cat comes out of the shadow and he's just staring at me. But the way he stared at me, was staring at me for my hair stood up, like, it just felt too airy. I started to pray. The man them's come out. We've gone to my yard. I've come out the yard, another black cat's on the wall. We've gone to a milkshake shop, we've come back, another black cat's on the wall. Like, every time I went inside my house, come out for a cigarette, because I'm dying now to smoke a cigarette. I didn't smoke a cigarette for 10 days. Another cat's on the wall. I had to go inside and just play Quran all night, blazing in my yard, like, do you get what I'm saying? So, I remember a couple months later, maybe 1 or 2 months later, I was with my baby mother, and I remember, like, I brought weed in the house. Like, now, see, when you bring bad stuff into your house, that's what makes these things have power, you get me? So I brought, like, a little box or something in the yard, hidden in the attic. But the spirit, it never left me alone, or it was around, innit? Because obviously, like, something happened where, like, my baby mother wasn't moving no more. You get what I'm saying? Like, she was talking in different voices. Like, I remember she colored her face all black, and she said, look at her, how ugly she is. I'm thinking, right, this girl, she's never done not one mad thing in her life. Why is she saying this? So I remember I wasn't living at the house at that time, because obviously the devils, like, their arguments and all that, so I was out. So I remember one day she rang me, she was like, she tried to press play on the Quran and she couldn't. So I was like, shit, I need to go back and be with her. So obviously I'm in the yard. Like, one day I come in, the girl's fainted on the prayer mat. So I was like, obviously I knew what to do, so I started to glorify God, like, in a loud voice. Then she woke up. I was like, what's wrong? She was like, I was praying and something wasn't letting me. Do you get me? So obviously I rang the sheikh to book appointment so that we get ruqyah done, like, so that, you know, exorcism, take it out. So we've gone Brixton, and the sheikh's taking out 2 duppy and out of this gal, you know. And you know, for years I was with this gal and me and her couldn't get along. But then that night when we was driving back, it was like, this the girl that I met and knew, not the one, not the, like, it's like, wait, you know some couples, they're constantly arguing, fighting. There's some spirits in your yard, 100%. It's not even you two. She's saying the worst things, making you react. That's all devils, innit? So when we went to the sheikh, he took out 2. And like, it was like a reunion. Like, where you been, babes? Like, she was like, it's like I haven't seen her for time, the way her true self. So anyway, man's gone home, man's fell asleep, but she was going on. I've said all of us will sleep in the living room, so we've all slept in the living room. Round morning times, you know, like I wake up and pray the morning prayer. So something was like, wake up, it's time, like, and something was like, nah man, just sleep, man, you got 5-10 more minutes. But something, I just jumped out of bed and licked the light. When I licked the light, my living room from top to bottom is filled with black smoke. What's happening is, see, spirits, people don't understand this. They're very, very dodgy. The spirit, there was a carpet that was put on the wall outside my house. Remember, I live on the top floor. The bottom of the carpet was burnt, so the carpet was smoking like a cigarette. And all the fumes, because where this carpet's standing straight, my vent is right on top of that, so all the fumes is getting sucked into the vent, and we're all sleeping in that room where it's going in. So if I didn't get up in 5 minutes, me and my kids were sleeping in a smoke-filled room. And what's weird about it, when the firemen came, they couldn't see the cause of the fire, how it started. And when it came time, the neighbors left the house for us to leave. Just blocked the door. You know what I mean? I had to get a blanket and throw it over the whole thing, like, for us to be able to come out of the house. You get me? I was thinking, am I gonna have to jump out the window with my youths and that? You get what I'm saying? So, like, it was nuts. Like, some people know these things are out there, and a lot of people act, and a lot of people pretend. Like, I don't believe that, bro. Whether you believe it or not, it's around them. When you don't believe it, they stay hidden. They don't want you to believe that they exist. They don't want you to believe that they're the ones that's causing certain things. They can even take something. You're in the yard, something goes disappear. Spirit took that to make you not kill each other. Do you get me? It's not a spirit, a bad spirit in it. There's good and bad in everything. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, so after seeing so many things like that, I met a girl who tried to commit suicide. And months later, when we spoke, she was like, I don't know, something was pulling me to jump off the bridge. Do you get what I'm saying? And we had to take her to the chef to deal with her as well. And thank God, she's normal. You get what I'm saying? So it's a mad thing. It's a mad thing. It's a deep subject. It's like, it doesn't, where does it end? Because you're always seeing things, isn't it? And like, told people, I've seen the thief come in my yard, and this is the same holiday in Gambia. Me and the thieves buck each other. I've tried to move and tried to scream. I couldn't run, I couldn't scream, I couldn't move till he went and jumped the wall. And you know, I was like, what the let's go back to bed. Like, it was too freaky, you get what I'm saying? Some of you lot sleeping, something jumps and grabs you, you're trying to wake up, you can't wake up. There's a duppy in your yard, you have to glorify God in your head and it will let you go. When that first happened to me, I thought I was dead. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so these things exist, but with God is all power. You're not supposed to put your belief in anything. Do you get what I'm saying? You're not supposed to put your belief in anything, do sacrifices, do anything a man tells you apart from believing in God. Like, anything happens to you, there's a right way of dealing with it and there's a wrong way. The wrong way is you can fight evil with evil. You can fight evil with good. Do you get what I'm saying? So, African religions, most of them were built on, they were built on misguidance and old knowledge that was there, that our grandparents, obviously our grandparents, there's a lot of beneficial knowledge in medicine, in different things that they teach you, but there's also elements of fear because of these juju tribes and these beliefs in these things, and like, look, all power is with God. Let a man go try what he's gonna do. If it's supposed to work, it'll work. If it's not, they could try here till abadan, forever. It will never work. So my advice is like, people just believe in God. Whatever problems you're in, we've seen it here, blood. We've seen road youths think they're hard, they get into problems, they run to the juju man, getting this, and they still get locked for life. You get me? So people, like, you get me? Don't sell your souls out there, keep it. You get me? It's worth more. You get me? With the buyers of magic, you'll never have a share in the hereafter. This is what God said. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, let's leave it there. And yeah, hopefully we might have to do a part 3 when I really think of so much things that's happened that sometimes it's hard to sit down and think, how am I going to fit this in? And, do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, people, see you later, yeah?